Another question that people constantly ask is about money. And I'd just like you to explain how the whole money thing works. The word on the streets is that HyPrep is being very generously funded, and people want to basically know, where's the money?
Okay, the way HyPrep is structured with different governing structures, the Board of Trustees, whose job is to collect the money from the IOCs and other contributors. And we have a governing council that have the power to approve our work, and we have the project coordination office that does the day-to-day implementation. I've explained this in a previous interview. It's like the project coordination office want to buy shoes. I used this recently. So if I want to buy, as a project coordination office, I want to buy 10 pair of shoes, I will do a request, a memo to the governing council, and tell the governing council, project coordination office would like to buy 10 pair of shoes. And the governing council will sit down, they will look at my request and say, why do you need 10 pair of shoes? We think you should only have 2 pair of shoes. In any case, you should start with 1 pair. So I'm approving for you 1 pair of shoes. It is the governing council that will then notify the Board of Trustees and say, we have approved money for the project coordination office to buy 1 pair of shoes. Please release the money for 1 pair of shoes for the project coordination office. It is only then that I get money for 1 pair of shoes. So what that means is that neither the governing council, the Board of Trustees, or the project coordination office on their own could collect money from HyPrep account. So we all three must agree and approve of every expenditure before it is made. That means that our money is safe. The process is transparent. The process is secure. And I want to use this opportunity to assure us. There have been rumors out there that $10 million here, $10 million there. It is neither here nor there. $10 million initially remitted to the Board of Trustees for us to as take-off grant. The money is held at the Board of Trustees, and for every activity that we need to do in the Project Coordination Office, equivalent money only approved by the Governing Council is released to us to work. When we expend that, we give a report back to the Board of Trustees, back to the Governing Council, that the 10 out of 10 million, for example, if they give us 1 million, after spending the 1 million, we retire that to the Governing Council and to the Board of Trustees. We spent 1 million. And they have it in their account. So for anybody that needs to know money that has been sent to HyPrep, all you need to do is approach our office through the approach the Board of Trustees through our office. Board of Trustees will tell you how much money they received, how much they have given to us, and how much is the change. So every account of HyPrep is accurate, is safe. And I want to use this opportunity to assure all of us that all issues about $10 million here and there does not exist. We all have a right to know what is happening, and for those of us who are interested in how our money is spent, please approach us. We will direct you, we will give you all the information you need as far as this expenditure is concerned. Thank you.
Okay, well that's great. It's good to know that there are safety nets in place that mean that the money is protected and not be spent anyhow. But isn't that a rather tortuous process that contributes to slowing the process down?
Well, it's a process that throws up transparency, that ensures transparency and accountability. And if we have to do that to get the confidence of all the parties, all the stakeholders, then maybe that is the additional sacrifice we should make, or we will make, to ensure that the process stays on course.
Okay. All right. Is there a difference between remediation and restoration?
Yes, there is a difference between remediation and restoration. Remediation is the process that recovers, is a recovery process. It's a process that removes the contaminants from the soil. Now, if there has been an oil spill on the side, the first thing you notice is that all the plants on that piece of land is gone. They are impacted. So it destroys all life there. Remediation is that process that will make the land again fertile for the plant to grow. Restoration is another process that will allow for all those plants to be for that land to be revegetated to as close as possible as it were to the original state before impact. So one is putting back life, one is removing the contaminants.
Okay, fine. And is it true that illegal refining, artisanal refining, will sabotage the process by repolluting areas that have been cleaned up?
The UNEP report was very clear as to the dangers and the challenges that recontamination and artisanal refining poses to the cleanup process. And in that regard, it makes no sense for government to commit so much money to clean up a site only for you to come back and say that it's impacted in 6 months. So this is a huge challenge to this process. And I would like to use this opportunity to appeal to all of us, to appeal to the security agencies, to appeal to the community, to appeal to regulators, and for all of us to pull our weight when it comes to combating this particular challenge. Recontamination continues as we speak, and it is important that it is halted. As a matter of fact, the UNEP report is very categorical. It says that remediation should only start after repollution, after artisanal refining activities has been brought under control. And I believe at this point, where we are asking for remediation work to go on, we are prepared to do that. We are focused on that. We want to appeal to all parties involved, everyone involved for these artisanal activities, all these other ways that impact the environment further, for it to be halted.
Okay. Some Ogoni communities are accusing High Prep of neglecting them. Could you explain to those communities that feel neglected whether you're going to get round to everybody in the end?
The UNEP report again was very clear as to the sites that were assessed. But that is not to say that those are the only sites that exist in Ogoniland. So part of what we are going to do now, we will do some more assessments in other areas. So any community where there has been an impact that we haven't reached, be assured that we are coming to you. We will get to that site and we will capture it within the project.
Okay. Can communities that have been impacted expect compensation? Because I mean, there are some people who think that High Prep is about money and about funds being distributed.
Compensation wasn't part of what UNEP did, and it's also not part of what High Prep is doing. What we have, two clear mandates: remediate impacted sites and livelihood. Livelihood is about training and giving new skills to people in the communities where, as a result of oil pollution, their means of livelihood has been impacted or affected. That is what we are doing. So compensation is not anything that is part of High Prep mandate.
Okay. Now I understand that there's some agitated persons who would like to ask questions. So I don't have to be the only questioner. Let me throw the floor open. Any questions?
How am I going to answer?
All right, thank you very much.
The Honorable Minister for Environment, Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, I was waiting for you to finish.
Okay, sir. Sorry, sir.
First of all, I must register my observation. I'm not criticizing, I'm only making an observation. If the PC was not an Ogoni, it will be a different observation. But I think it is not proper for you to have invited all these chiefs and all the elders here to come for a 9 o'clock meeting, and then you show up at 11 o'clock. I think it's not proper. Having said that, I also want to observe that I think there's a lot of, call it inefficiency, call it whatever. But this project is a very serious project, and I think it requires a little bit more attention than it is being given. I'm not too sure, but what I see, first thing I saw when I came here was this sign there, hydrocarbon pollution remediation project. I'm sorry, I have to, that's why I'm here. It's a stakeholder forum. Now, having said that, I want to ask 3 questions, and I hope you just take them so I don't have to speak again. One is that last week, some time back, we discovered that High Prep had appointed some consultants, project management consultant, project monitoring and evaluation consultant, and High Prep media and public relations consultant. Supposed to be communication consultant. Now, my first question is, what is the relationship between the project coordinator's office, that's the High Prep office, and the project management consultant? How are their roles related? What are they supposed to do for each other? As either in administration or what? I don't understand. I need to know how that's happened, how that's worked. So I have 3 questions, please. If you don't want me to ask, I can sit down. The second is that media and the communications consultant. I don't know what language and who is communicating with who. Who is he going to communicate? Who is he consulting for? If he's a communication consultant, my understanding is that he's supposed to explain this whole process to the people that are concerned, the Ogoni people. In what language is he doing that, and who is this person? And how is it functioning? Because invariably from your report, it appears that the High Prep office is still doing that communication job. So what is the role of this communication consultant vis-a-vis the High Prep communication process? Now, the second question is the third. When the Mossop president and the Kagote president, when they spoke, they were talking, a lot of emphasis was placed on feeding the people, Ogoni people will have to eat and all of that. The money is not remediation and so on. And then when you spoke, you went directly the full mandate of HIPREP, which is the remediation and restoration of the environment. Now, how do you reconcile? Are you working at cross purposes, or because the same source of funds? There are not 2 monies available for different things. You have only one source of fund, and then.
Please, let's give others.
I'm not coming back here to vote, please. Okay. I think she was her hand was weak holding the microphone. So my third question is, the minister's address clearly stated that people were called to do demonstration at the remediation sites. They have to test their technical expertise to be able to do the work if they were given. But that the demonstration does not confer any advantages to the process of selecting contractors. Are you now going to select those who did not do demonstration and who you haven't seen what they have done above those who had demonstrated their expertise? That's a bit confusing to me. So let me just wait there. Maybe as we go on, something might come up. Thank you.
Give me my phone. Give me my phone. Give me my phone.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me stand up and apologize profusely for my late arrival. Obviously, there were other things I needed to attend to in the office very quickly before coming here. So my very sincere apology to you and to the audience, all of you. I'm very, very sorry about this. It was unavoidable because I had to attend to those at the same time come back to you. So I'm very sorry, deeply sorry for this. I also just noticed the pollution thing. As you noticed it, I think this was an oversight, and we apologize for this. The department responsible for this will correct it immediately. So I'm so sorry. Let me go straight to the questions, sir. You started with the relationship between the consultants. It is true that the processes that led to the establishment of the governing structures, which is the Board of Trustees, the Governing Council, as well as the Project Coordination Office started before the Project Coordination Office came in. And one of the things that was to be done, or that we did, was that was done before then, was to ensure that there were competent consultants to assist the Project Coordination Office in carrying out the duty. Project management consultants, communication consultants, and monitoring evaluation consultant. So this was a process that was carried out by the Ministry of Environment on behalf of HYPREP. And they concluded that process recently and sent and got those consultants to us here. We had an inception workshop with them. And I can also use this opportunity to just quickly ask the representation of the Honorable Minister to just shed a bit more light on this for us. Please.
Thank you very much. Well, like the project coordinator rightly said, the process for procuring project management consultant, monitoring and evaluation consultant, as well as the communication consultant, was undertaken by the ministry on behalf of HYPREP for two reasons. The process actually predated the project coordination office being very active. But what informed having these consultancies around the project coordination office was, one, the nature of this particular project. It is just not like any other remediation. There are a lot of moving parts that requires a very, very high level of project management, engineering, quantity surveying, and so on expertise that we felt was very, very important to now have that expertise that is accountable to the project coordination office as support, not as parallel to the, is to strengthen the technical capacity of the project coordination office. So that process started and the PCO was now established and the process was concluded. That was why it was not ordinarily, it was the HYPREP that would have done the advert itself, that would have procured the consultants. But just like, as you are all aware, as at the time the oil companies were the international, the oil companies wanted to pay in at least an initial amount into an account, the ministry had to receive that money on behalf of HYPREP to ensure that at least it had sufficient takeoff. So I don't see any problem between the project coordination office as well and the project management consultant, because they are there as support and they receive instructions from the HYPREP, not from the ministry. That's on one hand. I will take the opportunity to also address the last question. No, not ethnicity. That's not mine. Yeah, the demonstration companies. Now, before the establishment of the project coordination office, and even after it has been established, the moment the president launched the Ogoni cleanup, there were so many companies that were coming with presentations indicating we have this technology that is going to, they were basically marketing the technologies that they had. And the former minister and the current minister decided that, okay, look, you're all talking a lot of grammar on presentation. Why don't you now go and demonstrate it? Let us see. And use that as an opportunity to determine the appropriate technology to deploy that is environmentally sound in that environment, in the cleanup exercise. So if you give an advantage to somebody that comes to market, you did not invite them to come and do demonstration. They say, look, we want to showcase what we can do. It does not make you to now subvert the procurement process that is there to now lay it open. Besides, what we have learned through the demonstration is that there is nothing unique to each and every one of the companies, because these are all technologies that are not anchored to one company alone. They are proprietary. And there are so many other international companies that actually are engaged in this. So it was very important for the hands of High Prep and the ministry not to be tied. You want to do this demonstration? Fine. In fact, most of the times they offer that they will demonstrate that it works. So we say, okay, fine, we'll allot areas for you to do so that we can now look at what the results are. And that will only inform the kind of technology that is going to be deployed. It will be unfair for if somebody comes to me and is marketing that, look, I have this handkerchief, it's better to clean your sweat, but you can try it. And I take it and I try it, and then you now say that I must buy that handkerchief. I may decide I don't want to buy it. So, but the fact is that they also have to now compete with this. But for companies that have done demonstration, realistically, you discover that for somebody to deploy to the field gives you an indication that, okay, yes, there's a lot of expertise around that. When you now ask them to now come forward to produce their documents, then they will produce their documents. If they succeed in getting, fine. If they do not succeed in getting, then you are not contractually obligated to now say that you have to award to them. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ishaku. Please, just before we get back to the project coordinator, I just want to say that when he's done with the last answering the last question, we'll go to other tables for fair hearing. I hope that's okay with us.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Go to other tables so that we have fair hearing.
Thank you very much. I want to answer the other questions, sir, where you asked about the mandate of High Prep. I explained that the mandate of High Prep is remediation of impacted sites and livelihood. The livelihood angle is what captures what the governing council members were talking about, creating opportunities and job opportunities and welfare for Ogoni people. So two mandates of High Prep, the remediation and the livelihood aspect. So that takes care of it. Sorry? Of course, impacted site is the main reason, but just like the governing council member, Professor Benanen explained, and the Council President, you couldn't clean the environment when the people sitting there are hungry. So we tie them together, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Next question, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Honorable Chief Felicia Bariza Sintane of Thai local government. I just want to ask one simple question. This is Ogoni, and we are all representatives. We have more of the Ogonis in the village. And the Ogoni comprises of 4 local governments. There was one I was supposed to ask, but my sister said it's another day, so I shifted that one to another day. The one I want to ask now is, like this huge money we see, we hear, and all along they say this money is not going to be shared to anybody, which is right. Now I want to ask, what did you intend to do in local government A, B, C, and D, which is Tai, Kana, Eleme, and Okana. What do we get home and tell our people that this is what they will do for the clean up? You know, when they hear clean up, what are you cleaning? So that is what I want to ask. What will you do to each of these local government that will show or bring, even if they won't see money, at least that thing will bring money, we bring food, we bring, is it the pipe on water, is it the health side to operation, is it only those people who have operation sickness or other diseases, or is it building of houses, or is it what and what? Just tell us so that we can tell our local people. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry to.
All right, thank you very much. All right, straight to the PC, please.
Okay, Honorable Madam, I recognize and I salute you. The answer to your question is that the UNEP report captured impacted sites across all the 4 local governments. It also made recommendation on emergency measures, things we need to do very quickly. Emergency measures on the health study as well as on water. So we will be looking at those communities where water, their groundwater is impacted, and will provide water in those places. We will also be looking at all the impacted sites in the 4 local governments, and that is where the remediation work is starting. So there's something, this money is going to be used for the 4 local governments, and they should watch out for activities like water, health studies, livelihood. We are going to train people, give them new skills across the 4 local governments. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Let's quickly go to just the last question, please. Sorry, let's go to this table, please.
The Honorable Minister here represented. Okay. Please, may I be allowed to stand on existing protocol? To what extent Okay. My question is this. My question is this. To what extent, number one, have we engaged the oil companies operating in Ogoniland so as not to repollute the environments after this cleanup? We look at gas flaring and spillages, because to our knowledge, they are operating with double standard. To what extent have we engaged them to make sure they conform to best and standard practice, the way they operate in other environments? Number two, we're talking about combating with the illegal refineries. To what extent have we considered our youth and consider to make sure we grant these modular refineries to the Ogonis, not considering the standard or the level of or the capacity of the company that will be granted? To what extent are we considering the Ogonis to grant license to our people to operate these modular refineries so that we can engage our youths who are already skilled in that business and to stop them from repolluting the environment? Lastly, to what extent are we carrying the stakeholders along in the area of engaging the companies that will come and carry out this cleanup exercise. If we have about 100 companies coming from Yoruba, Igbo, and other places, at the end of the day, if you give them contract of about 100 million naira, and they execute the contract with about 50 million naira, they have profit of 50 million naira. If you allow the traditional institutions and the stakeholders to be part of that process, that profit that they are going back with will be shared among those that recommend them to come and do this contract. They will not finish the contract, go with the money, profit and everything, and we say, okay, they were doing Ogoniland cleanup, and we go back empty-handed. To what extent have we considered these three issues? Thank you.
Back to you, Dr. Marvin, please.
Thank you very much. I hear repollution and to what extent we are dealing with that. I want to stay focused on the mandate of HYPREP. HYPREP is under the Federal Ministry of Environment. The Federal Ministry of Environment deals with environmental issues. Your question bordered on environmental and operational issues. So there are the operational aspect of your question are questions that the Federal Ministry of Petroleum Resources will be able to deal with, and I'm not able to comment on those. But when it comes to repollution, we have spoken about what we all need to do. Repollution issues, you have a role to play in that. Government has a role to play in that. The IOCs have a role to play in that. And collectively, only collectively can we deal with that. So, but our job here is to make sure that we bring all of you on board. It is part of the reason that a stakeholder forum like this is important. It's part of this gathering here is part of the solution to that problem you're asking. So what are we going to do? We're going to be here, we ask ourselves, and we tell ourselves which way we can deal with that particular problem from the community angle. As I'm sitting here, where I'm talking to the Honorable Minister is seated here, he is already talking to the Minister of Petroleum Resources about these issues too. So government is working, the IOCs, they are here, they are doing their bit. So the community angle is one of the reasons we are seated here, so that that problem will be dealt with by all of us. The other question is the extent of engagement of IOCs with youths. The program we want to do in HYPREP, it's a youth program. There is a livelihood program for the youths in HYPREP, and that will capture those people who are in artisanal refining by way of giving them alternative means of livelihood. It's important for us to state clearly that certain activities are criminal activities, and they are a breach of the law of the country, and we are not in any way encouraging that. So while we are discouraging you from doing that, we're also providing through our livelihood programs means for these youths to stay off that. And we also want to make it clear that whatever it is, whatever funds we secure for livelihood activity will be judiciously used for everybody who could participate in our program. We have the youth, we have the women, we have people whose sources of livelihood have been impacted by the reason of oil pollution. You spoke about stakeholder and companies. I know that at the very beginning of this project, there were some forum where we sat and we encouraged the local companies to look at the regulatory and statutory requirements that is needed to involve and to take advantage of the business opportunities that this project offers. And that was like a year ago. I believe that from that period till now, sufficient Ogoni companies would have presented themselves those, or would have given themselves those statutory requirements. It's unfortunate that without those statutory requirements, the question of talking about stakeholder community interest we will not be able to address it. You need to meet what the law says for you to be a contractor before we can consider you a contractor. And once you're a contractor, then the advantage of you are an Ogoni contractor can then set in. But we cannot do anything if you do not meet those basic requirements. I also want to use this opportunity to speak to all of us. Please take advantage of the business opportunities that come out of this project by looking at the statutory and the regulatory requirements that are there, If you have companies that meet up this thing, our office is open. We are willing to give these opportunities to as many Nigerians, to as many Rivers people, to as many Ogoni people that are willing and that have the companies to participate in this process. Thank you.